They're coming back because their heart can't let you go. And deep down, you might already feel it. There's a pulse that never really stopped beating between the two of you. A quiet knowing that whispers in the silence when you least expect it. No matter how much time has passed, no matter how far apart life has pulled you, there is something eternal in this connection. It's the kind of love that doesn't crumble easily. It lingers, it haunts, it remembers. In IF, you're watching this video, stay with it until the very end, because there is something powerful waiting for you here. We invite you to type your warmest wishes and the number 77 in the comments as a way to energize your dreams and send love into the universe. Sometimes, our wishes come true when we believe with all our heart and release that energy into the world. This moment is sacred. Don't underestimate the power of your intention. A heart that can't let go is a heart that is still holding on, hoping, praying, feeling. And it may not make sense to others. They might look at the situation and wonder why you care. But your soul knows something your logic can't explain. It's more than just chemistry. It's more than memories. It's that magnetic pull, the way their name echoes in your mind when you're not even thinking. That sudden rush of emotions when you hear a song that meant something to both of you. That feeling when you're about to move on, but then out of nowhere, a sign, a dream, a message, a pull, brings them right back into your energy. These are not accidents. They tried to walk away. Maybe you did too. But something in them couldn't detach, not fully. They kept hoping they'd forget, but instead, they kept remembering. You were the one their heart chose before they even understood why. And while they may have tried to silence those feelings, the truth is, they never truly left. Even in their absence, their energy hovered near. That's how powerful this bond is. It transcends logic. It outlives separation. It survives silence. Don't mistake their distance for indifference. Often, the ones who feel the most deeply are the ones who run the farthest. They couldn't face what they felt. It overwhelmed them. The intensity, the vulnerability, the fear of losing something so rare. It pushed them into retreat. But love has a way of circling back. It knocks on the heart like a persistent wind, reminding the soul of what it once knew to be real. That's what's happening now. That's why you feel the shift. Their dreams are flooded with your presence. Their mind wanders to you when the world goes quiet. Their heart aches in your absence, even if they've never said it aloud. They've tried to distract themselves, to fill the void with other things, other people, other moments. But none of it worked, because it was never about filling a space. It was about facing the truth. And the truth is, you are the one they can't forget. This isn't just nostalgia. It's not a passing thought or a convenient memory. This is soul recognition. This is a call from their heart to yours, a whisper that grows louder each day. And eventually, they'll have no choice but to respond. You were not meant to be a forgotten chapter. You were meant to be the main story, and their soul knows that now. You see, sometimes people need to lose you to realize what they truly had. Sometimes they need silence to understand the value of your voice. Sometimes the heart has to break open before it can finally tell the truth. And that truth is screaming inside them now. They miss you, not just the good times or the laughter, but the way you made them feel seen, the way you made them feel safe, the way you felt like home. There is no timeline when it comes to this kind of connection. Some reunions are delayed by pain, ego, or confusion, but eventually, the heart always finds its way back to what matters most. And for them, that's you. That's why you've been feeling their energy again. That's why your heart still holds space. Because somewhere inside you, you knew they would return. You may not have all the answers. You may still carry pain from the past. But underneath all of that, there's still a thread tying you together, a thread that time couldn't break, a thread that distance couldn't unravel, a thread that has only grown stronger in the quiet moments between now and then. Stay grounded. Keep nurturing your spirit, because what's coming isn't just a return, it's a transformation. They aren't coming back as the same person. The weight of your absence has shifted them. Your silence became their mirror. And through that reflection, they've started to realize what they truly want, what they need, and most importantly, who they love. You might not see the full picture yet, but it's unfolding. Slowly, beautifully. The universe has its way of orchestrating perfect timing, and right now, that divine rhythm is bringing them back to you. Not because they have to, not because it's easy, but because their heart refuses to let you go. They've gone through their own private storm since the moment you both went separate ways. And maybe you couldn't see it from your side, but it was there. Quiet, messy, and real. They tried to tell themselves it was over. They tried to find reasons to detach, to justify the silence, to numb what they felt. But feelings that deep don't disappear. They just simmer below the surface, waiting for a moment of truth. And now, that moment is fast approaching. In the stillness of their nights, they've been revisiting memories that never truly faded. The conversations, the laughter, the arguments, the promises. It all replays like an emotional film, each scene marked with the echo of your voice. Some moments make them smile. Some make them ache. But all of it makes them remember. And in remembering, they realize just how much they were trying to forget something unforgettable. This person is not only thinking of you, they're feeling you. Your energy walks with them through their days. Certain places, certain words, certain looks from strangers remind them of you. They feel it in their chest, in that hollow space where you used to be. And what used to be a casual wondering has now turned into a quiet obsession. You're not a passing thought. You're the one who awakened a part of them that no one else ever reached. NTHE world can be loud, distracting, and full of illusions. They got lost in it for a while, caught up in expectations, fears, and unhealed wounds. But love, the kind that shakes your soul, it leaves a mark that can't be erased by time or distance. It's like a rhythm that won't stop, a hum beneath the noise of life that keeps calling them back to you. They're starting to realize they didn't lose you. You were never truly gone. You were always there in the background, in the dreams they didn't understand, in the feelings they tried to suppress. You were the quiet comfort they craved when everything else felt too much. You were the voice of clarity when their mind was full of doubt. And now, with each passing day, that truth becomes harder to ignore. This isn't just longing, this is awakening. They've reached a point where pretending isn't working anymore. The masks are falling. The distractions have lost their power. And underneath it all, there is one undeniable truth. They still love you. Maybe more now than ever before. Because now, they understand what love truly is. Now, they know what it means to have someone who sees them, accepts them, believes in them. They're not returning out of loneliness. They're returning because their heart never stopped belonging to you. And even if they tried to give it to someone else, it never truly fit. It's like every connection after you felt incomplete, forced, lacking. Because when someone has truly touched your soul, the rest feel like echoes of something greater. You were that something. You are. It's not just about wanting you back, it's about recognizing they never should have let you go. That's the difference. They're coming back with clarity, not confusion. With courage, not excuses. They've tasted life without you, and it didn't satisfy their hunger for meaning, for connection, for realness. They thought time would heal it. but time only magnified it. And while you've been on your own journey, healing, evolving, transforming, so have they. The pain of being apart has carved something new into them. It's forced them to look at themselves, to question their patterns, to confront their fears. And through all of that self-examination, one truth kept showing up. You, with your steady heart. You, with your fierce love. You, with your way of making them feel like they mattered. You were never just a phase. You were never just a lesson. You were a soul echo. And echoes don't fade. They return. In SO now, their soul is preparing. They're gathering the strength to face you, not just as they were, but as someone changed. Someone awakened. Someone who finally understands what they're standing to lose if they don't come back. And even if they don't have the perfect words, even if they're unsure how to begin again, their heart is leading the way. They may try to test the waters at first, a subtle message, a random like, a vague comment. Don't brush it off. That's not coincidence. That's their soul reaching for yours. That's fear and hope battling inside them. Hope that you'll still be open, fear that they may be too late. But when someone's heart truly can't let you go, they find a way to return. They find a way to speak, to reach, to show up, even if it's imperfect. And it's not about begging or convincing. It's about energy, vibration, truth. And the truth is, they still feel you. In every breath, in every silence, in every decision, they feel the space where you belong. And they're tired of pretending that space doesn't ache. This time, it's different. This time, they're not looking for closure. They're looking for home. And you are that home. You always were. They may not know how to say it yet, but their soul is already speaking to yours. You've probably felt it. Random moments of anxiety, sudden waves of emotion, dreams you can't explain, or that feeling in your chest when something is shifting. That's their energy brushing against yours, sending out quiet signals into the universe. And whether they're fully aware of it or not, their intention is forming. Their heart is getting louder than their fear. This isn't just about a romantic return. It's about soul alignment. A reunion of hearts that never really stopped dancing with one another, even in the absence of words. Your connection was not based on convenience or comfort. It was deeper than that. It challenged them. It forced them to face themselves. And that's what scared them most. Because you didn't just love the parts they showed, you saw the parts they hid. Now that they've had space to reflect, they realize how rare that was, how rare you were. They could be surrounded by people, but none of them made them feel truly known. None of them held the same mirror to their soul. None of them could match the frequency they shared with you. It was never just love. It was recognition. Like two ancient souls remembering each other in a chaotic world. NTHE. Silence wasn't just absence. It was transformation. During this time apart, both of you have shifted. You've grown through heartbreak, through longing, through questions you thought would never be answered. And so have they. Their return isn't a rewind. It's a new beginning. But this time, with wisdom, with purpose, with a heart that's ready. Sometimes the strongest love stories are the ones that take the longest to unfold. They aren't linear. They come in waves, in cycles, in soul tests. You weren't just meant to experience them. You were meant to awaken each other. And once that awakening begins, there's no going back to sleep. No matter how far they ran, they couldn't unfeel you. They couldn't unlearn the way your energy wrapped around theirs. There's a moment coming when they won't be able to hold it in anymore. They'll feel this urgency inside them, a need to speak, to act, to close the gap. The pretending will feel like suffocation, and in that moment, they'll choose honesty over fear. They'll choose vulnerability over pride. Because their heart will no longer be able to carry the weight of your absence. They've been battling themselves, torn between ego and truth. But truth always wins in the end. Because when someone's heart belongs to you, it doesn't matter how many detours they take, they will always find their way back. It's like the universe guides them with invisible threads, pulling them gently but firmly in your direction. Don't doubt the power of what you shared. Don't minimize your own impact. You left a mark not just on their mind, but on their soul. And souls don't forget. Souls crave what is real. And your love was real. It wasn't built on perfection, it was built on depth, on trust, on the raw moments that no one else saw. And that's why they're being drawn back now. They've had enough time to compare, to contrast, to see the difference between fleeting attention and meaningful connection. They've tasted superficiality, and it left them starving. Because nothing can compare to the depth you gave them. You touched them where words couldn't reach. You met them in their darkness and offered light. And that kind of love doesn't vanish. In SO now, they're pacing emotionally, preparing themselves to show up differently, to be honest about their feelings, even if it scares them, to open up, even if it risks rejection, because staying away has become more painful than facing you. Their silence used to protect them, but now it haunts them. Every day that passes is a reminder that love, when real, cannot be denied forever. You might wonder why they stayed away for so long, why they didn't fight harder. But the truth is, they were afraid of not being enough, afraid of messing it up again, afraid of opening a door they weren't ready to walk through. But now, they see that it's not about perfection, it's about presence. It's about showing up with all their flaws and still being willing to love. They know they can't go back in time, but they also know they can't keep pretending they're okay without you. The act is getting harder to maintain. The smiles don't reach their soul anymore. The distractions feel hollow. And every time they think they've buried their feelings, something happens that brings you right back to the surface. You are their unfinished sentence, their lingering melody, the chapter they keep rereading in their mind, and the more they resist it, the more obvious it becomes. This love is not done. It's not over. It's evolving. It's calling for a second chance. Not out of desperation, but destiny. They're coming back not because they're weak, but because they're finally strong enough to admit what you've always known. This love was meant to continue, to grow, to heal. And maybe it had to break first, to teach them what love isn't, so they could recognize what love truly is. There's a realization they're carrying now, something that's taken time and silence to fully sink in. They're beginning to see that you weren't just someone in their life. You were the alignment they didn't know they were searching for. You were the clarity hidden behind their chaos. And losing you wasn't just painful, it was awakening. Because after you, nothing felt quite the same. Nothing compared. Nothing clicked. They've been playing conversations over in their head. What they said, what they didn't say, what they wish they could go back and change. At first they tried to silence those thoughts, but eventually they stopped resisting. They let themselves feel the full weight of what you were to them. And in that space, they found truth. The kind of truth that aches but also sets you free. The kind of truth that forces you to grow. This isn't about fantasy. It's not about escaping into some perfect version of the past. It's about facing the real emotions they tried so hard to bury. They weren't ready to face the magnitude of what you meant to them. But now the walls are crumbling. The more they embrace who they are becoming, the more they're realizing who helped get them here. You You weren't just part of their journey, you were the turning point. And they know that now. They feel it in the way their chest tightens when they think of you, in the way their soul leans toward your memory, like a flower to sunlight. This is the kind of pull that can't be forced, can't be denied, and can't be explained to anyone who hasn't felt it. They know they've made mistakes. They know they could have handled things differently, but regret has become their teacher. And as hard as it's been, it shaped them into someone who is no longer willing to run from love. They've faced the silence, they've sat with their shadows, and now they're ready to step into the light again with you. Their heart isn't racing back out of impulse. It's not infatuation. It's not desperation. It's alignment. It's surrender. It's the realization that no matter how far they've gone, the road always led back to you. Because what you had wasn't temporary, it was timeless. And they're starting to understand that now in a way they couldn't before. They tried to replace what you were, but all they found were reflections, dim echoes of what once felt whole. And while they smiled for others, their soul stayed quiet, because love isn't about comfort, it's about connection. And you were the only one who saw past their surface, who touched the parts they were scared to show. Their soul is preparing to speak to you, not just through words, but through presence. You'll start to notice it, a message, a call, a moment that breaks the silence. Don't be surprised if they reach out just to say something simple. It may seem casual, but beneath it will be a storm of unspoken emotions. It may be clumsy, it may be guarded, but it will be real. They've never forgotten the way your energy felt, the way you calmed their spirit, the way you understood them when they couldn't find the words. They thought they could find that again in someone else, but they were wrong. What you gave was one of a kind. And now, that understanding has become louder than all their doubts. Sometimes people need to lose the one to realize what love truly means. And while it hurts to know they had to lose you to see it, what matters now is the transformation. The return isn't about going back. It's about moving forward, together, with awareness, with appreciation, with depth. There is no perfect apology, no magic sentence that will erase the past. But what's more important is the effort. The vulnerability, the willingness to show up and do the work this time. The return is not just emotional, it's spiritual. It's an acknowledgement of what was left unfinished, unspoken, unresolved. And deep within them is a hope, a fragile, burning hope, that you might still feel what they feel, that your heart still has space, that somehow, after all that's passed, the connection remains. It's that hope that drives them now, that silent belief that maybe, just maybe, you'll be open to writing a new chapter. One where the love is mutual, steady, and safe. They're not expecting perfection. They're not expecting things to pick up right where they left off. What they're hoping for is a chance to speak from the heart, a chance to hold space, a chance to listen, and to finally share everything they couldn't before, not just what they felt, but who they've become since. Now, when they do come forward, it won't be because of loneliness. It will be because of growth, because their soul is tired of resisting what it knows is true, and that truth is you. Not just the idea of you, not just the memory, but you, the person who never stopped living inside their heart. They've reached a point now where staying silent feels like a betrayal to their own heart. They can no longer pretend that what you two shared was just a phase or a temporary connection. The feelings that once scared them have become the very feelings they're clinging to. What once felt overwhelming now feels like home. They've tried to talk themselves out of it, distract themselves with logic, convince themselves that moving on was the best path, but their heart didn't agree. Truth is, Their heart has been speaking your name this entire time. In the quiet, in the chaos, in the moments when they felt completely lost, it was always you that came to mind. That feeling, that presence, that peace, they only found in your energy. They can't explain it, and honestly, they've stopped trying to. Some connections justify logic. Some loves are meant to rise above all the noise. And it wasn't about needing space from you, it was about needing space from themselves. From the version of them that wasn't ready to receive the kind of love you offered. A love that was too pure for the version of them still stuck in fear, in pride, in emotional armor. They didn't walk away because you lacked something. They walked away because they lacked the capacity to hold what you gave. NBUT time has humbled them. Silence has softened them. And life without you has shown them what a life without meaning really feels like. They've had highs and lows since then, but none of it ever compared to the quiet peace of just being near you. You didn't just make them feel loved, you made them feel understood, seen, known, and that kind of recognition doesn't fade. They now realize that pushing you away wasn't protection, it was self-sabotage. They were trying to guard themselves from something real, because real felt risky. But the cost of that fear has been heavy, and every step they took away from you only led them deeper into a maze of emptiness they didn't know how to escape. NBUT now, they're finding their way out, and you are the lighthouse calling them home. This isn't about fixing the past, it's about building a future, one that's rooted in truth, not fear. They aren't coming back for a second chance at the same story. They're coming back to write a new one. One where both of you are more whole, more aware, more ready. They've changed. Not because of someone else. Not because life forced them to. But because your love planted something inside of them that continued to grow even after you were gone. You sparked something sacred. And now that they've seen the truth, they can't turn away from it anymore. They've imagined what they would say if they had one more chance. How they'd tell you that they miss not just the moments, but the essence. The feeling of being safe in your energy. The comfort of being accepted. The magic of a connection that didn't need words to feel alive. You became a part of them in ways they never fully admitted. Not to you, not even to themselves. But now the denial is crumbling. The feelings are rising, and they know that staying away isn't strength anymore. It's avoidance. It's delay. And they're done delaying. Every message they didn't send. Every call they wanted to make. Every day they thought about you but told themselves it wasn't the right time. It's all catching up now. The pressure in their chest is growing. The longing is becoming louder than their fear. And they know that reaching out may be scary, but silence has become unbearable. You're not just a memory. They never let you become one. You're still present, still active in their thoughts, in their dreams, in the choices they're making now. And they're starting to understand that the universe never meant for your story to end like that. There's more to write. There's more to heal. There's more to love. This doesn't mean you have to say yes. It doesn't mean everything will go back to how it was. But what it does mean is that love is still alive. That despite everything, distance, silence, ego, pain, there's still something there. Something worth honoring. Something worth exploring. They're not perfect. They don't have all the right words. But what they do have is something they didn't before. The willingness to be real, to be present, to be vulnerable, to be seen without the mask. And that might just be the most powerful thing they could bring back to you. You see, they're not chasing a fantasy. They're fighting for something their soul knows is true. And when someone's heart can't let go, it's not weakness. It's calling. It's the deeper knowing that says, this person mattered. This person still matters. And I refuse to live with the regret of never trying again. There comes a time when the heart stops negotiating with the mind, when logic is no longer enough to drown out what the soul feels. And they've reached that point. Every suppressed emotion, every ignored sign, every unspoken word has been building up like a tidal wave inside them. And now all of it is pushing them back in your direction. They don't want to just remember you anymore. They want to be with you again, not in the old way. Not repeating the past, but standing beside you as someone who finally understands what they've been running from all along, themselves. You see, loving you forced them to confront the parts of themselves they weren't ready to face. But now, that mirror no longer scares them. It humbles them. They miss your spirit, your voice, the way you could make them feel safe even in their mess. They miss the way your presence quieted their storms, even when words weren't spoken. That kind of peace is irreplaceable. That kind of connection is unforgettable. And no matter how far they tried to run from it, they're realizing now they were never really running from you. They were running from the responsibility of loving someone like you. You asked for honesty, for consistency, for emotional depth, and at the time, they couldn't give it. Not because you asked for too much, but because they were still giving themselves too little. But now, they want to rise, not just to be with you, but to be worthy of the space you created in your heart for them, because no one has ever held them with such truth. No one has ever seen them through the lens you did. They know now that you loved them, even when they weren't lovable, even when they were guarded, distant, difficult. And that kind of love, that kind of loyalty, it doesn't come twice. It's once in a lifetime. They know they failed to meet you where you were, but they also know what it would mean to try again, with intention, with maturity, with soul. You may have moved on in some ways. You may have created a beautiful life without them, and they respect that. But in the quiet of their thoughts, in the stillness of the night, they wonder, do you still think of them too? Do you still feel the pull? Is there still a door open, even slightly? They're not coming back expecting things to be easy. They're not walking in assuming forgiveness or warmth. They're coming back because love, real love, asks us to show up even when we're unsure, even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. They're stepping out on faith, on feeling, on the undeniable truth that you were the only place that ever felt like home. They've spent time imagining what it would be like to see you again, not just physically, but emotionally. What it would feel like to hear your laugh, to look in your eyes without guilt or regret, to share space again without the weight of what broke you. They've played out 100 versions of that moment in their head, and in all of them, they hope for one thing, that you'll still feel something too. This is a moment of courage for them, reaching out, showing up, letting go of pride. It's a risk, but the greater risk is never knowing, never saying what was left unsaid, never giving this love one more breath. And they can't live with that kind of silence anymore. And even if it means starting slowly, even if it means just one conversation, one vulnerable moment, they're willing, because their heart hasn't stopped whispering your name, and the more they try to ignore it, the louder it becomes. You are the unfinished part of their soul story, and they know it. And this isn't infatuation or romantic nostalgia. This is soul truth. This is the kind of knowing that wakes you up in the middle of the night, that lingers in your bloodstream long after the world has moved on. It's deeper than attraction. It's more than longing. It's a call, a pull, a vibration that says, go back, make it right, don't let them slip away again. And now they're answering that call. Not because they're sure you'll say yes, but because they finally understand what they lost. They're not chasing a fantasy. They're chasing a feeling that was real. That is real. A connection that never died. A love that never asked for perfection, only presence. They want to sit with you, not just to talk about what happened, but to look at who you both are now. To acknowledge the growth, the pain, the evolution. To see if, after everything, there's still something worth saving. And if there is, even just a flicker, they're ready to rebuild from that light. Because when your heart can't let go of someone, it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of truth. And truth has a way of calling us home. They know it's not just about showing up, it's about showing up differently. This time, they don't want to come back just to repeat the cycle. They want to create something new, something honest, something grounded in the lessons you both had to learn the hard way. Their heart has held on to you all this time, not because of attachment, but because of purpose. And now, that purpose is awakening inside them like never before. This return isn't built on impulse. It's been carried through tears, through silence, through moments when they nearly reached out but froze. It's the culmination of every lesson, every dream, every sign they tried to ignore. It's the moment when pride finally steps aside and love gets the final word. They're tired of carrying the weight of words unspoken, feelings buried, and moments lost. You are not a chapter they want to close. You are the story they want to continue writing. But this time, with presence instead of absence, with healing instead of hiding. They're not here to ask you to forget what happened, but to see them now. See them for who they've become. See them through the lens of the growth they fought for in the dark. Maybe it won't look like a perfect reunion. Maybe it won't happen in the most cinematic way. But what's real rarely needs to be grand. It just needs to be true. And their truth is this: you still live in their heart. Not as a memory, but as a longing. As a truth they carry every single day. As a love they never found again, no matter how hard they tried. And while you may still have questions, while you may still carry pieces of pain, something in you might also feel it. That pull, that echo, that quiet knowing that this isn't over, that something unfinished is asking for completion. Maybe not to go back, but to go forward, together, reimagined, realigned, redeemed. Your strength during the silence didn't go unnoticed. Your healing, your evolution, your growth, all of it matters. They see it now, and they're not here to interrupt your peace. They're here to honor it, to meet you where you are, not where you were. And that alone shows just how far they've come. They want to hear your truth. They want to hold space for your version of what happened. Because now, they're no longer afraid of the conversation. They welcome it. They welcome the honesty, the vulnerability, the awkwardness, if it means getting closer to something real. You've always been worth the truth. You've always deserved the clarity. And now, they're finally ready to give it. NIF, you choose to open the door, even just a little. They will walk through it gently. They won't demand. They won't rush. They know what's at stake. And more than anything, they want to show you, not with grand gestures, but with consistent presence, that they mean it this time. Because this time, it's not about what they want from you. It's about what they're willing to give. The patience, the love, the honesty, the effort. It took losing you to realize that they had everything when they had your heart. And now, all they want is to be someone who honors that gift, if ever given the chance again. You've never been forgotten. You've been carried, held, cherished, in places they didn't even know existed inside them until you were gone. And no matter how many distractions tried to pull them away, none of it worked. Because when love is real, It doesn't loosen its grip. It just waits for alignment. And so, if you've felt their energy rising again, if you've sensed something shifting, it's because their soul has decided it's time. Not just time to return, but to return right. With clarity, with softness, with the full understanding of what you are to them. They are not coming back to complete you. They are coming back because they finally feel whole enough to meet you. And when two whole souls reconnect, the story becomes something greater than it ever was before. Something sacred, something divinely timed. You are not imagining it. You are not reaching. You are not holding on to a ghost. You are witnessing the slow return of a heart that never truly left yours. The reunion is near, not just in body, but in energy, in spirit, in love. And when it happens, you'll feel it not in your mind, but in your soul. Because this time, it won't just be about love returning. It will be about love arriving, fully, finally, and for real.